Hey, Bob Wilson, Lean Team. Welcome back. We're talking about lean shorts, topic number 5. So maybe we'll have a contest to name the little guy here. Maybe you can post a thought on that. You like that? I don't know about those horizontal stripes there, though. Does that those make me look fat? All right, we'll think about that. So we're climbing up the charts here. We're looking at our 6 lean principles. We're up to number 5. So we've already talked about customer centricity. We've talked about flow, tact, pull, and now we're talking about perfection. Okay? So think of it like a test. When you study for a test, well, other than that one class, do you study for a C? No. You study for an A. You want to get 100%. Now, does that mean you always get it? No, not necessarily. But that's the goal. That's what you're focusing on. So this idea of perfection, let me get the drawing done here real quick for you. And so when we look at this idea of perfection, okay, so we're looking at a little chart here, and we've got upper and lower control limits, and then obviously wherever the data points fall along on the chart, right? So when we look at perfection, we want to look at 2 aspects. First, we want to look at the process, how do we get there, and then the output, okay? So when we look at this idea of perfection, one of the first things we want to look at is we look at those control limits. Where do those come from? Obviously, if something falls in here, we're saying that's good. If it falls out here, we're saying then that's not good. Okay? So you can make the argument that if it falls within those control limits, it is what you want. Well, who determines those control limits? Well, 9 out of 10 times you talk about it's the customer. Okay? Customer defines almost everything that we do, okay? Because without them, we're not in business. So in this idea of perfection, one, it gets back to that same question of our very first principle, customer centricity. What is it the customer is looking for? Let's define that. And you'll see that in a lot of places, depending on where in the process, the level of maturity that they're looking for is going to change the expectation from your customer. Or maybe by region, by demographic, whatever that is, what determines what perfection is can change. So this idea of your customer defines that. We need to first understand, who the customer is, what they're looking for. So that's going to define for us what perfection is, so that we can shoot for that. Are we going to hit it? Yeah, hopefully we will. But if not, then we're going to work towards that. But the first thing we got to do is understand it. So in terms of when we talk about perfection, we want to look at it in terms of the process and the output. So in terms of the output, that thing that we're handing off to the customer, we want that to meet their expectation. And when we talk about that meeting their expectation, we got what's called the 5 R's that we look at. Is it the right value that we're providing to them? Is it the right the right quality, the right quantity, the right timing, at the right price? So we want to meet those conditions and understand what those are in order to meet them. Okay. Now the other aspect is the process. Now that is, how did we get there? Was it a fluke? Was it by accident? Is it repeatable? So in product development, in manufacturing, in service, are they going to get the same experience, the same thing every time? So that's that repeatability and reproducibility of our process. So we want to look at both of those aspects. So if you want to talk more about that and understanding, this idea of perfection, and talk about any of the other principles, give me a call. Bob Wilson, AMD. Email me. Contact the team. Happy to work with you. And one more to go. Thank you very much.